Hi, so today's pro tip, we're going to talk about hand position. And if you're anything like me, when you were first starting out, you probably did this, which is going into the string at a right angle or perpendicularly. So let me just sort of turn the harp this way a little bit. So, which means that you would be going kind of like that. And what you really would ultimately want to get is your thumb up and your fingers down so that you're actually having more of this shape. And if you notice this, when I'm like this, it's kind of hard to see on the camera. I could hold it maybe like that. Hello, can you see? Okay, notice this. More or less, when my hand is like this, where I can touch all the strings with my thumbs up and my fingers kind of down, my hand is actually making kind of a flat plane, like I could touch the side of the harp and see how flat that is. When I'm going this way, notice I've got, my middle finger is longer, my second and fourth are a little shorter, my thumb is totally shorter, so you have to kind of distort everything to do that. So, but again, I did the same thing when I first started, and I played like that. I still notice when I look at my videos that my thumb has a tendency to, how can I turn my hand here? Can you, to go under my second finger. And, I'll pluck how you're supposed to with your thumb going down and your fingers going this way, but my thumb tends to sneak under there. So, I don't, who knows if that's entirely a bad thing. Everybody's different. Everyone's playing technique is different. Everyone's harps are different. Some strings can be narrower spaced, more narrowly spaced. So, you might have to alter your technique some to avoid string buzzes and just to get your fingers in there properly. I know wire strung harps and, with, the old Clarisach and, the Irishy wire harps can be very narrow, and they use their fingernails, and their hands are generally kind of like what I was showing you not to do. But anyway, so to each their own. But I have noticed another benefit of not only playing this way with your thumb up and your fingers down and creating that sort of flat plane, is that your tone will sound very different. And I think it sounds, when you're playing more from this sort of, again, it's hard to show the ankle, can you see? Right there. If I play from there, rather than from the very top of my fingertip, if I play from the side of it, that would be touching the string, I get a rounder sound. And it's a fuller sound, as opposed to this, which right now kind of sounds the same. Notice there was a little buzz in there, so you might run the risk of buzzing, maybe. This might get your finger out of the way so you don't end up buzzing. So there's my my words of wisdom for the people just starting out. So if you see yourself doing this, just do this. I saw a couple YouTube videos. One was a lady said, now wave like a baby. So notice when you're waving like a baby, your hand is kind of like that. So your thumb is up and your fingers are like that, and they go like this. What's another one? Oh yeah, holding a Coke can. So obviously, if there's a can in there, there's some space. And so when your fingers collapse, there's still that space. Somebody said, oh, well, it feels like you're, holding a butterfly. You don't want to, hurt the poor thing. You just gently close your fingers, and they will pull into your palm. So I don't know if you can see that. See how that works? Twinkle, twinkle, little star. Okay, well, anyway, hope that helped. Next lesson will be about the other very important thing, which is placement. So I'll save that for another day. All right, thank you. Hello again. Hello again. This is kind of off the cuff. Get it? I have another cuff down there, but it's supporting the rest of me. One thing I've heard too, and I've noticed as well, is that when you're putting your hand on the harp, again I'm playing the air harp, is that, with your thumb up and your fingers pointing down, I think the angle of your fingers go to the opposite side of the soundboard. So if you're looking through the strings with your fingers, with little eyeballs on the ends of your fingers, they're looking down at the, the soundboard. They're not just sort of, kind of, I don't know if they're looking at the middle of the soundboard. I always thought it was going to the opposite side, and I kind of think of, this is just me, that, kind of more toward, angled more toward, get my hand so you can see, maybe the middle of the soundboard, but, in between the very middle and the edge, so kind of in between there somewhere. The other thing too, yeah, this is like my brain. This is your brain on afterthoughts. I'm having like an afterthought about my afterthoughts. Oh, this. Okay, so I play the mountain dulcimer. Some of you probably do too. And like, if you've looked at some videos of people that do a lot of finger picking, I've noticed that they go at a diagonal across the string. almost like not quite, going, what would it be, vertically, almost in the same, uh, that's my refrigerator behind. How can I describe it? So, for example, you could here's your options. You could go straight across the string perpendicularly, and that gives one kind of sound. Um, you could also go literally try to pluck the string along the length of the string, and that wouldn't work very well. But if you go kind of at a slight diagonal, you get this beautiful, warm, round, full sound without that sort of tinny click at the very beginning. It's almost like you're kind of stroking the string and kind of caressing the string as opposed to giving it like a kind of a twang, which would be more right angled perpendicular. Um, and I've also noticed this too, is that each finger has its own sound. So when I'm playing mountain dulcimer, if I want to get maybe like a slightly brighter sound versus a slightly, more warm sound, I pick a finger to use. Usually my third finger, I notice, and also the part of your finger that you use. So all these things are things you generally don't think about. I've been playing the harp for about 10 years now, maybe, and it's only recently that I noticed that using this little side part of my finger as opposed to more, maybe other parts, does make a difference. And I remember sitting in the orchestra pit, playing piano, sitting next to the harp player, and talking about this. And she said, "Yeah, I try to, you get a better tone doing blah blah blah." And I didn't know what the blah blah was. Still not sure, but anyway, I hope you've enjoyed some of this blah blah blah. And I try to get the kitty back up. He's still sleeping. All right. Well, thanks for listening, and I hope that helps. In a nutshell. Okay.